Mr. Secretary, I'm Eleanor Horn. I'm a proud member of the NNSTOY Board of Directors. It seems to me that whenever we enter an education battle, we do so with one hand tied behind our backs. And I fear that that's what's going to happen with the Common Core. We deal with the tip of the problem and not the base. Back in the 90s, there was a lot of talk about the opportunity to learn standards, which were quickly set aside because they were too hard to impose. So how do we expect to be successful with Common Core when so many of our students do not have the fundamentals of a safe school, a qualified teacher, and yet we're imposing another group of standards because right now they seem easier to do?
So I disagree with the last part of your question. They're not easier to do. I'd argue they're harder to do. And again, raising the bar for me is really, really important. I think that the real challenge you express is one that we all face every single day of how do we both raise the bar, high expectations, which again I will fight for every single day, but couple that with high support. And high expectations without high support, whether it's for kids or for teachers or for schools or for principals, doesn't work. High expectations with inadequate funding doesn't work well. High expectations without after-school programming and summer school and early childhood doesn't work well. And I think for us as a nation, it can't be either or. I don't want to dummy down standards because then again our kids won't be prepared and can't compete in a global economy. But we have to challenge the nation to walk and chew gum at the same time. We need more lieutenant governors and governors who understand this. And the idea of raising the bar for all of us, for administrators, for teachers, for students, for families, but giving them the supports to be successful with that higher bar, those two things have to always be linked, have to always be coupled. And so doing, not waiting, but doing both at the same time and doing a host of other things. Educating you guys, this is really, really hard work. Everybody keeps asking, what's the one thing I wish there's just one thing we need to do. We can't do 20 things, but there are probably like 6 things, 7 things we need to do and do together and do with a real sense of urgency. So again, I don't ever want to apologize for challenging people to raise standards because I've seen the devastating impact when standards get dummied down. But coupling that with better support, so great teachers feel supported, coupling that with engaging parents in this conversation, so parents understand if their child is failing a little bit more now, that's not a bad thing, it's actually a good thing, and they actually desperately need that. We need to be able to have those conversations, and the communication piece that you talked about is so hugely important here. And again, having more political leaders across both parties who understand the complexity of these issues and can do all these things at the same time. Not to go on too long, again, we can't just do early childhood ed as much as that's important. We can't just do K-12, we can't just do higher. We have to do all of this and do it all now. And too often we in education, we fight each other. Early childhood people fight this, and higher ed blames high schools. It doesn't work. For me, there's one common enemy, and that's educational failure. For me, that's the one battle I think we're all united in fighting, is having a lot less students be not successful academically, and a lot more students be successful. Not to go on too long, high school graduation rates are all-time high, 80%. That's huge. I'm absolutely thrilled with that. Having said that 20% not graduating, that equates to almost 1 million kids leaving our schools for our streets. And we know they are basically condemned to poverty. There's nothing out there for them. So for me, how do we all unite to get that dropout rate to 0, and then to make sure 100% of our high school graduates are actually college and career ready? If we do that, then I think we move to a very different place.